Yeah, 2015 gave us the best movie in this franchise. I guess it's just natural they followed it up with the worst. Insidious: The Last Key was released in 2018, directed by Adam Robitel, starring Lynn Shay, Lee Winnell, and Angus Sampson. And yeah, I don't really like this one. I feel like they should have left it a trilogy, honestly. But let's go ahead and, I guess, start off this review, starting off with the good. And admittedly, there's a couple things I like. First, you have Lynn Shay. Obviously, she has held this franchise together since day one. I've already said that. And she actually gets full focus in this movie. She's the main character. And I think that she does a great job. She gives a very strong performance like she has since day one of this franchise. And she brings a human depth to the character of Elise. And like I said, she does a great job. And then you have Lee Winnell and Angus Sampson. They're not given as much to do in this movie as they were in previous movies, but they were still really fun screen presences, great banter and chemistry between them and with Lynn Shay, so it's great to see them again. And there's maybe one or two elements of the story I liked. I really liked getting a little bit of a backstory for Elise's character and seeing her childhood and what made her the way she is. That was an interesting look into the character, and I enjoyed those flashbacks. Aside from that, that's all for the good, on to the bad. And I just don't like this movie whatsoever, aside from those few components that I mentioned. The main story in this movie, aside from the flashbacks, is forgettable as hell. Kirk Acevedo is in this movie. I liked him in Arrow. His character really doesn't add anything to this movie whatsoever. I know that they tried to do some kind of twist where his character was being controlled by the same demon that Elise's father was being controlled by. I could not have cared less. Speaking of said demon, key fingers or whatever, the design's cool, but this is easily the worst and most forgettable villain in the entire franchise so far. I don't care about this villain whatsoever, and by the time it's defeated, we're just like, okay, well, it's over. And then also with the setting of this movie, it's set like right before the first movie. So by the time we get to the end of this movie, it all feels for nothing because we know that Lynn Shay's character is gonna die like right after this. So yeah, that really brought the movie down as well, in my opinion. And the biggest crime that any horror movie could ever commit, this movie commits, and that is that this movie is just not scary at all. It lacks the atmosphere, the tension, the sense of dread that the first three movies had, and there wasn't a whole bunch of very memorable jump scares, and that's very unfortunate for the Insidious franchise, which is known for having memorable jump scares and memorable atmosphere. There's none of that in this movie. It just feels like a studio-made corporate film made to fill out an Insidious film. And I'm sorry, this movie just does not feel like it fits within the Insidious franchise. So, on to the final thoughts. I'm not a fan of this one. This movie has its fans, good for them. But for me, Insidious: The Last Key is a very weak movie within a pretty strong franchise, and I can only give it a 3 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on Insidious: The Last Key. Have you seen this movie? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it if you have seen it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.